Hi everybody, Jo here again. How are you doing? I hope you're having a decent day. I hope things are going well for you. We have little things, little hiccups happen in life every so often, don't we? So it's nice to just come here, have a bit of a catch up. I'm hoping you're going to do a bit of crafting with me. But if not, well, just pump up them cushions, make yourself comfortable, and let's just, spend some nice time together. Today I'm going to make an A6 card design, and it's sort of got a vintage feel to it. But really, the whole design started because I was looking through my stamps, and I don't know about you, it's something I like to do and just refresh myself with stamps that I've had for a while. I love it when Tracy brings out new designs. I can't wait to see them. And especially when being on the design team, we all love to get designs out there and your head's buzzing with ideas. But like I've told you before, I'm a bit daft. I think about my older stamps and I sort of don't want them to be neglected. I mean, I must admit, I've got quite a stash of stamps now, and I'm sure there's a lot of you very much like me. I think we're collectors of craft product, aren't we? Not just stamps, but stencils, inks, brushes, pencils. Oh, I could go on. And I'm sure many of you have got more than I have. I mean, honestly, I've seen some photographs of your craft rooms, craft sheds. Wow, you have so much space. I must admit, my tiny little room here is sort of bulging out the seams, especially when Eric gets under my table, under my feet, bless him. He's got physio tomorrow, so he's having to have it regularly now because his back's getting a bit worse, but and his legs, but it's just arthritis, and he's doing well. His medication he won't take unless I wrap it in a piece of ham, so I think he's cottoned on to that really quickly. He's a bit of a tinker. Anyway, I digress. So this is the design I'm going to create. Now, again, if you haven't got these colours, if you haven't got these stamps, I'm sure you could do it with something similar. Just have a look and try and maybe find a stamp that you haven't used for a while. So I'm going to pop this over here. And this all started with a piece of the Multifarious card, and it's the A6 card. Now, I know some of you have asked, and it is actually A6 size. So and that's in case you actually want to put it straight on the card blank, but I like a little bit of a border look. So I cut a smidgen off mine, and I saved it to show you. That's my smidgen. And I know some of you are probably going to ask me how big it is. How big is a smidgen? Well, a smidgen's a smidgen. You know what I like for our craft terms, and I just do it by eye. Now that looks 3mm. I don't even know if it's the same on both sides. I think they're roughly a smidgen. They look both 3mm, don't they? Now, you could save those. Well, that should be clock hands, don't they? Anyway, so I'm on my last one as well, so I need to go and buy some more. And we're going to start off with some stamping. And I'm going to use one of the new corners, and this one's a dragon root corner. And again, any of the corners, the fabulous corners, and we're just going to use it along the bottom. You may not have even noticed it's there. Look, it's here. And I just want to sort of give a little bit of shape at the bottom. So I'm not particularly using it as a corner. Oh, you didn't see that, did you? Eric making an appearance with his dog hairs. So I'm starting with the Nocturne, just nice black. You could use one of the browns if you would like. And I've got a little bit on my acrylic block. And I just want it sort of a shape, roughly sort of like that. And I've roughly gone for it to be, but you could measure it to have it even. But do you know what? We're crafters. This is handmade, hand created. So it's got to be by eye. And I want to fill these corners in. And if I look, there's part on my stamp, there's ink that hasn't been used. So I'm literally just going to almost take a little bit of ink there, press that down. And it doesn't matter if it's more of a second generation. And I think there's a bit there that looks like it's still got ink on. So we'll have that. And it's just to fill in that space. I'm going to put ink over the top, so it doesn't matter that it's slightly first and second generation. It just fills in that space for me. So the stamp I chose is, and this is called Star Blossom. And it's lovely this, because I'm going to have it growing up, but you could have it hanging down, look. Beautiful hanging down. Or you know what I'm like at the minute? I'm really into putting them. Now that would look lovely across. And then maybe the little pixie houses on there. Or Dana, I reckon she would sit beautifully on there. So that's another little, you could have a go at that. So I'm going to carry on with the black. I can tell by the colour of my stamp, this was one of the original ones that I've had. So I've had this a while. And I'm going to stamp the first one off centre, right to the base there. And then the next one, I don't want it to go right on the base. So remember that piece of copy paper I tore yesterday? Well, I'm going to use that. Like we do. Don't know about you, but I really do save everything. Odd bits of ribbon. Literally everything I can. The best is when you put it somewhere safe and then can't find it. Right, so I'll have this one just at an angle, I think. And that's fine there, don't worry about that. The main thing is, I don't mind if there's a gap, I don't want it going over. So the next one, just want a smidgen appearing. So I'll just angle that, put that there. And then one more here. And like I said, I've purposely off-centered it because for me, I don't like it to be too central. So again, I'm just going to protect this, mask this area here, and just put that at an angle there. Yeah, happy with that. I like that little. Now I'm thinking, if you did this in Christmas colours and added some holly, you could actually make this as a Christmas design. I think that would be lovely. Now, just going to give that a bit of a blot because obviously Versafine Clair, slower drying ink. So because I'm going to add some colour now, we'll just give it a blot. And I'm going to come in first with my Sahara. And I've got my largest brush, my number 9 brush. And I'm just going to add some Sahara again in the lid to blend. And then just in the middle, and I'm going right over the design. That's fine, doesn't matter. Just want that sort of starting with that vintage feel. And then next I'm going to bring in some Russet orange. Now again, don't worry about your blending here because we're going to vintage this up. So if you're one of our lovely new followers, don't worry, I'll show you. Always, for me, I always blend in the lid. Now, my Russet orange, for some reason, always comes on strong. And again, you'll find you get to know your ink pads. So if I start at the bottom, look. And I'm just going to put some colour over that corner. Blend in the lid and then over this corner. And as you can see, it does come quite dark in places. But don't worry about that. It's a very orange mine. I don't know why. It's a juicy ink pad. Considering I use orange a lot, I think my orange has stayed very juicy. So I'm just going to go up to this corner and then almost blend it in to fill in that gap to go and meet the yellow. And again, I'm going to turn it round, blend in the lid, start on the corner. Now at first look, we've got lines, and that's purely, I can still blend it. These are blendable inks, so you can move them once they're on the paper. So look, it's important I show you. So look at that. We've got a darker area, we've got some lines, but just watch. Like magic, if we keep going, just keep blending, the ink will move. The Multifairies card is so good because it allows that ink to keep moving. And again, because of my mats, my lovely Lavinia mats, I can pick up the ink on here that I've got there, look, pick that up and add that. Now, I've got a bit of a gap there, so I'm just going to pick a little bit more from the lid. Just come in here, darken that bit up, and just that corner. Yeah, that's better. Just to even it all the way round. I like that. But then I'm going to bring in one of our lovely stencils. And this one is called Honeycomb. And I just thought this one, it reminded me of that look of almost vintage crackly papers. So I'm just going to add that. And I'm going to come in with the orange. And it's very much tone on tone. So some areas you won't see it, some areas you will. And when I ink up, I start on the darker bits. I don't want to go into the middle first. I don't want it to be too dark. So like I say, at first it's where the tone on tone. And again, you could take this down. I find if I just move my hand out the way. So let's have a little peek. Oh yes, I like that. Just maybe a little bit more here. Can come in a bit darker for that. Yep, happy with that. And again, I can spritz my stencil and that'll give me another background. So we've got to this stage and I love all that. What I'm going to do now is I just want to edge it. So I'm going to come in with my Scorched timber. Now for this, I'm going to use a blending sponge. Now, really, I go between a blending sponge and a brush, and a lot of the time it depends which one. And I've got to be honest, my blending sponge with the brown on was nearer than my brush, and that was the only reason that I chose. You could use a brush for this. Sometimes for me it depends which just happens to be at hand at the time. Both work equally well, but like I say, it depends what colours I've got, which, you know, what's available. And I tend to ink up on those corners and move it round just because it's easier. If it's a new ink pad, make sure you do dab it in the lid. This was a new ink pad, but I've used it so much, as you know. We've had quite a few videos using this, and I've used it in a lot of my workshops. Fabulous colour. So we just need to bring that a little bit. We've got less ink on now, so we can just see where we need to blend it, just to fuzzy that edge around. A little bit more at the bottom. And just take your time. There's no rush at this stage. You just want it to look nice. You want to be happy with it. So I'm happy with that. So what we'll do, we'll just give this a spritz. A quick wipe, just so we keep a nice clean area. Try and keep it clean to work in. I say clean-ish. I know there's marks on my mats, but that's because I work. I play. So I want to add a little bit more background stamping to this now. And for this, I'm going to come in with, and I've dropped the acetate on the floor, which tells me what this is called, Forbidden Secrets. Now, with any of my sentiment stamps, I always put an arrow on the back, so I know I don't stamp them upside down, because, believe you me, I have done before now. And I'm going to use one of the new Versafine Clair Sand Dune. This is quite a light brown. If you don't have this, if your brown's dark, just check it on a piece of copy paper and see. It might be, see, I'm going to use first generation. I love this colour, but it might be, if yours is a darker one, you might need your second. You could use a combination of both. Or you could go for the orange tones. So what I'm going to do, and again, I want to check this is straight. I'm going to stamp that once, there. And again, this just helps with that lovely vintage feel. Now, it might be you like this, you want a card, a man's design. You could swap this for, say, trees. This would look beautiful with one of the, say, fairy fir tree. Put some trees there. There you go, man's card, job done. Maybe one of the birds. So I hope you have a go, and please tag me in. I'd love to see what you get up to. Maybe just that corner there. Right, I'm going to stop with that. And what we'll do now, we'll just add a little bit of colour to our flowers. So I'm coming in with my pencils, and I'm using these, I can't say it, aquarelle colouring pencils. I need to have a little name like the A pencils or something. And I'm going to come in with an orange and a red. And what I'm going to do, let me get my tissue to lean on. They've got a lovely stem bit here, line down here. So I'm going to do that red and red at the base. Now, it could be, see, I want it all to tone on tone and match. So that's why I've gone for reds and oranges. But it might be you want the flowers to pop. So they would look beautiful in a contrasting colour. Blue or green. Or you could do them all different colours. You know, these are fantasy florals. So the colouring is totally up to you. As I say, I'm sticking with the vintage theme and just going red. And then going to bring in this lovely browny orange. And I'm just going to go over the top of the red. And again, I'm doing this quite quickly. You will take your time. I mean, again, you could batch card make these. Because like I say, it will be suitable for lots of different occasions. So you could do different colours. Oh, I missed one there. So thank you to those of you who just shouted to tell me. Thank you very much. Good job I'm listening. The grandchildren would say, good listening ears, Grandma. Trying not to stick my tongue out as I colour. Right, last one. I think. Pop those pencils back. And then I'm going to come in with my Wink of Stella. And this, just check, yes, this is the clear one. And this will do two things. So it will activate that lovely pencil, but also it will add that shimmer. And it'll do them both at the same time. So this will save me, I could watercolour them, the pencils, and then add the shimmer. But you know what? If I can do it both at the same time, and it just blends these colours beautifully. And again, like I say, you will take a little bit longer than me. And as you can see, I have got a little bit of colour, a little bit of red, just on the end there. I'm just going to pop that in the light. It will get more glittery as it dries. I just want to check I've got them all. Did I get that one? And that one? And then all I do, look, is just that little bit of colour that's picked up. I just put that on my copy paper until it comes clear, and then it'll go back to my lovely clear Wink of Stella. And as I say, that will dry so glittery. Now, I just want to add a little bit of something here, look, because it almost looks very obvious. And that looks a bit of a, well, I nearly said a bit of a mess, but it's not the prettiest of bits, is it? So for this, we're going to come in with our soft pastel pencils, look. And again, I'm going to come in with an orange. We've got a bit of a theme here, and a dark brown. And my biodegradable cotton bud. And what we'll do, and I just want to almost fill this space here, look. So I'm going to add a little bit of orange. And then, and remember, these are soft pencils, so it's nice and gentle. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of brown underneath. And I'm almost not doing an equal colour, as it were. I want it to look quite sort of almost sketchy, so it's not even. Then I'll come in, look, and just blend And I'm blending the colours, and almost I want it to look, oh, we missed one there, look at that, a bit fuzzy. But it doesn't matter, we'll just fuzzy that. And then a little bit of brown there. And that will just fill that lovely gap. And as I say, blending it'll just fix it. It's a small area, so I don't need to use a spray fixative. That's going to annoy me. I'm going to have to colour that, I'm afraid. I'm going to add a little bit of orange to that. Otherwise, that would really annoy me. A little bit of the Clear Wink of Stella. There we go. Make sure I keep the pencils right. That's my colouring ones. These are my pastel ones. But can you see now that space now is almost just a lovely fuzzy little edge. And it just keeps with that whole sort of tone. And then what we can do now, I just want to add a little bit of posca. And I'm just going to add some little posca highlights. Just a couple. Don't want to overcook it. And again, remember, shake your posca just to activate it. And then I'm just going to, and I'm not going to overthink it. If I do, I can't do this. So we're just going to add a couple of those. Right, have we missed any? Little one there. Maybe just do a bit of that there. And then with my fan brush, and I like to do this at the end, this is all our permanent ink, our stamping, so it won't move. We've used a dye-based ink for our background, so that will move, it will faux bleach. So with my fan brush, look, I can just put some lovely water splats around, again, just to add to that vintage feel. And as it starts to dry, look, you can decide almost how white you want, how much you want the faux bleaching to work. Now, I don't want it too much, so I'm going to dab mine. I just want it to be nicely speckled, not too speckled. So again, we'll dab. And then just with my heat tool, just with my drying heat tool, I'll just run that over. And again, dry from the back as well. Look at that. I love the way the craft mat makes such a lovely pattern on the back. I really need to do that on a piece of card and use it in a design. So we'll give that a dry front and back. And then finishing touch, I want to add some white posca splats. Now again, if you're not into this, leave these off. I just love it, but it does make me think Christmas. I've got to be honest, it is shouting out a vintage Christmas design. Now to finish off with, we're going to add one of our lovely sentiment stickers. Now you know I love these. Now, but I'm trying to find which one. I think, again, oh, I could be here a while. I like them all. They're just so... I think I'm going to go for Peace and Harmony. I like that. Now, it might be that you want to make this and leave your sentiment off until you decide what you're going to use it for. But I'm thinking with a sentiment like Peace and Harmony, I could still add Happy Birthday to this. Birthday wishes. So I'm thinking if I put this up here... And I think originally I was going to use the vintage ones, but I think the white shows up nicely. So that's the design finished. And as I say, I mean, how quick was that? And there we've got our original one. And as you see, that sheen really does develop. Look at the colours there. Now, also, if you wanted... Remember, you could add some glossy accents. I mean, one of the sentiments actually says something about raindrops. And I was thinking you could use that and put your little glossy accents on as raindrops. You see, so many ideas. Now, if you want, you could add a little fairy here as well. Now, I haven't added a butterfly. I purposely haven't. But yes, you could add a vintage butterfly. That's a good idea. So I'm going to leave that with you. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you love looking through your stamps and just create a lovely vintage card and share it with everybody, please, because we love to share. So you take care. I hope the rest of your week goes well, and have a lovely weekend when it arrives. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.